What's up, everybody? I'm Sly, the movie guy, and here's where I rank all 4 Men in Black films from the worst to the best. And by the end of this video, let me know in the comment section down below where you rank all 4 Men in Black films from the worst to the best, because my list is going to be different from yours, and his list or her list is going to be different from your list. So, hey, film is subjective, and that's the beauty of it and stuff. So everybody's list is going to be different from number 1, number 2, number 3, so on. And with all that being said, let's just get started. Men in Black International. Oh, this was one of my most disappointing films in 2019. I mean, I flipped out the movie theater so disappointed. And it broke my heart. I mean, this was like on my top anticipated list of 2019. I couldn't wait to see this movie in movie theater. I was like, wow. The director, F. Gary Gray, the director of Friday, set it off. Straight Outta Compton's going to direct this film. Chris Hemsworth, Liam Neeson, Emma Thompson. The casting was just fantastic. I'm like, wow, this movie is going to be phenomenal. Went in and just left out like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. It was that bad. I mean, there's some good parts about it. The alien designs and stuff, the CGI and stuff, really looks good. But the most disappointing parts about this film is the comedy. And usually I go for Men in Black films to see how the comedy works. And so far, the Men in Black films had good comedic moments. And this one had like comedic moments that just fell flat for me. I mean, the only thing I could say was funny was the little alien guy, Pawnee, a little bit, but he don't get that much to do in the film. But the moments he was on screen, he was a little bit funny. But mostly the comedy just fell flat for me. I was trying to chuckle on every scene, but there's scenes that just like, what happened? And you have Chris Hemsworth. He's a very funny comedian actor. I mean, we've seen it from the MCU films, him playing as Thor. So what happened here? I don't know why. And Tessa Thompson is very talented. She tried in this film. I think she was the only part that was redeemable about the film, but she don't get like much to do and stuff. And that goes for Liam Neeson and Emma Thompson and stuff like that. All the actors did a fine job in this film. They just didn't get much to do in this film, and that was just disappointing. And the villains were forgettable. Oh man, I couldn't even remember the villains. I mean, I've just watched this film recently, and the villains were just horrible. I mean, I don't know what happened with that. The storyline, everything was just not great about this film. I mean, this just was one of the films I just like, couldn't believe how bad it was. And from what I've heard, there were studio issues as they were making a film and stuff like that with the director and everything else. You've probably not heard it before. It just was crazy. And this film just hurts me to the core as a Men in Black fan. And if you like this film, hey, I'm happy for you. For me, it just didn't do it for me. And do I recommend this film? I say check it out. You might enjoy it. For me, since you heard my take, I really do not recommend this film, and I'm just gonna leave it as that. Men in Black 2. Now, I have a soft spot for this film. It's not a perfect film, but I remember seeing this in the movie theaters in 2002 in the summertime, and I came out in the movie theater saying, wow, this is still an enjoyable film. Not as close as number 1, I will say. It was definitely not close to number 1. I didn't feel that same magic as number 1 and stuff. So this film, I still enjoy certain things out of it, like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones' chemistry. I think it was still on point as the first film. So I still enjoy that, the way how they did the storyline with Will Smith trying to bring his partner back. So I really like that part of the storyline. I thought those elements worked. Will Smith still kills it as Agent J. So I had a blast time watching his character on screen. He really makes the film watchable. But then when it came to the main villain that was like looking for the light, that part of the movie was one of the elements that I really had that didn't work for me at all. It was just like kind of like a little bit disappointing for me. The villain just wasn't as intriguing as like number 1 film, the first film, and it just was one of the parts I was like, what were they doing? And the side villains that was with the main villain they didn't work for me. The one with the with two heads or something, the small head villain guy, he was kind of forgettable than the other villains. I don't know what happened in this film. It's like they were trying to like add so many ideas in here, but didn't like flesh them out here in this film. And Rosario Dawson was does fine in this film. She doesn't do a whole lot in this film, but she has done a lot of great movies in recent years, and she was on the Daredevil Netflix show, so she done good in those. But here it's just she wasn't given much here in this film, and some of the action scenes in this movie with the CGI was kind of a little bit kind of weird. The CGI didn't like really work for me on some areas and stuff, especially with Agent Zed. Some was like kicking the lady villain in the air and stuff. That was kind of like a very cringy moment, and some of the comedy worked in this movie. Some of it was like, okay. Well, like again, I said, I have a soft spot for this movie, and I don't think it's perfect, but hey, I still can find some enjoyment to watch this film. It's definitely like a step down to number one, but hey, I say, hey, check this film out if you haven't seen it yet. It still has some moments in here, but still not a great Man in Black film. But hey, it is what it is. I still found some enjoyment out of it. Men in Black 3. Now, I remember in 2012, I went into movie theaters with low expectations because I haven't enjoyed a Men in Black film since the first one. So I was like, is this going to be any good? The trailers blew my mind. So I was like, wow, I'm going to check this film out. And going to movie theaters, I was just like, I don't want to be disappointed by this film. So I was just like, had my fingers crossed, hoping it's good and stuff. I mean, it had Josh Brolin in it, Will Smith, and Tommy Lee Jones is back. So I was like, I'm definitely going to check this out, but was a little bit afraid about like being disappointed. So I went in, left out, really enjoying the film. I mean, it really was enjoyable. It's nowhere like closer being as great as number one, but still a fantastic film. I mean, I really enjoyed this film. I mean, the chemistry with Will Smith and Josh Brolin playing the young Agent K, Tommy Lee Jones character, that absolutely works. I got to talk about that. Man, Josh Brolin knocks it out of the park as young Agent K. I mean, playing the young Tommy Lee Jones character, he did fantastic. And it was spot on, too. I still to this day can't believe how he did it, man. It was just so good. And his chemistry with Will Smith really works. The storyline works better than number two, definitely. Where Will Smith has to go back in time to save his partner from the alien villain Boris the Animal. Some of the comedy works in this film. I really enjoyed it. Josh Brolin gives some good comedic moments, and Will Smith still has that charm and charisma in this film. Really works. I mean, there's things that in this movie I really like, especially where going back in time, seeing the technology and stuff, how it was done. All that stuff really works. Some parts of the film just didn't have like that complete unique style as the first one. But hey, I still forgive the film. Some of the action scenes really works well in this film. And I forgot the actor that played Boris the Animal. He was at least like an intriguing villain versus the second movie and stuff. So I really enjoyed so much things about this film. There's some things I still have issue with. I still miss some of the characters from the previous first two. But hey, still enjoy the film for what it is. Not a great film, but hey, still enjoyable to watch. And I recommend checking this film out if you haven't seen it yet. Men in Black 1997 is my number one favorite Men in Black film. Woo! I love this film, man. Oh, this film works on so many levels. On the directing, the writing, the casting, the storyline, the villain, everything in this film is that good, man. I just love it, man. It works so phenomenally well. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith's chemistry on screen as Agent J and Agent K really works on so many levels, man. It was just so electrifying, man. That chemistry is like the best chemistry I've seen on screen, man. I mean, Will Smith as this comedic guy, Agent J, and Tommy Lee Jones' character as Agent K, very serious. You're trying to figure out how that's going to work on screen, and it works perfectly well, man. I mean, every second that he was on screen, it works on so many levels. I loved it, man. It was just the dialogue, everything. It was just so it was on point, man. I just loved it, man. I just loved every second of it, and just the storyline. It just so intriguing with our main antagonist Edgar the Bug, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. Oh, this is the most underrated performance in his career, man. And this is Vincent D'Onofrio I'm talking. I mean, the guy that played Kingpin in the Daredevil Netflix series and the other films he had played in. He is a good actor, and this is just so good. I don't think nobody even talks about his performance in this film. He was just great, man. Everything in this film, the comedy in this film alone really works. I mean, the comedy was just so funny. I still bust out laughing when I watch this movie. There's so many good comedic moments here in this film, especially when they go into this pawn shop where the guy's head gets blown off. That was funny. To the dog Frank really works. The scene, oh, it's funny, and the scene I really find very funny, and it's one of my favorite scenes where the villain is like going try to get to the ship and stuff, and Tommy Lee Jones told Will Smith keep him on this planet, and so Will Smith finds a way to make the bug mad by stomping on the roaches, and so he's like, "Uh-oh, I'm sorry, was that your auntie? That must be your uncle then, huh?" Oh, it's so funny, man. I'll laugh at that scene every time. It gets me. Everything about this film really worked. There's so many funny moments in this film. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to keep it non-spoiler. I done mention a little bit of the film. I'm not going to mention much of it because I want y'all to check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Everything in this film works. I love the soundtrack. I even got to have the soundtrack in my car. Here comes the man in black. I love that song. It really works for me, man. Everything. This film is just a classic. Everything about it, it works. I love this film. It's my number one favorite Man in Black film. I love it. It's fantastic. It works on so many levels. I love it. Barry Sonnenfeld, the director of the second and third film, he did a fantastic job. It just had so much in this film that works on so many levels. Like, it has so much energy here, and the film was just so self-aware. It knew what it was going for. It knew what it was. The comedy, the seriousness, everything blends in so perfectly well, and that thanks to the directing and writing and stuff like that. It just works, and I love this film. So I say check this film out. Like I said, just please, it's fantastic. And that's pretty much it. Like I said in the beginning of this video, let me know in the comment section down below where you rank all 4 Man in Black films from the worst to the best. Let me know that in the comment section down below. I would love know thoughts and opinions about it. Let me know. And that's pretty much it. And as always, if you like this video, click thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, click subscribe and the bell button for more future content. That's why I can see you next time on Slide the Movie Guy. Peace.